Okay, here is the updated video. Some of you have asked about building mold housings for freshies. And I did a video before, but since then I've learned some things that I thought would be helpful. If this is the first time you're watching, a few things you will need is a 3D printer. I recommend Bamboo Lab. A filament, of course, to print them. You will need Silhouette Studio Business Edition. You don't have to use that. You can use any program that you want that will save as an SVG. I just prefer this one. It is $49 on Swing Design. If you try to buy it off Silhouette, it does cost more. So if you need the link, just let me know. And then you will need Tinkercad, which is a free online program. And I use that. You can use different programs, but Tinkercad is free and it works with my computer. Fusion did not. So my computer is a cheap laptop that I use, so the graphics card was not good enough for Fusion. So I just use Tinkercad and it works for me. So to build a freshie mold housing, when I started, nobody wanted to teach me. They said that if everybody learned how to make them, there wouldn't be enough business for everybody. So I basically had to teach myself, and there is plenty of room for everybody. I have a ton of sales on my Etsy. You just need to be different. Don't try to do designs that everybody else does. Don't copy people. Of course, there's going to be similar because there's trends and things that are popular. Just don't steal people's designs. Make your own, and then you will succeed. Do not take screenshots of people's designs or pictures on the internet and try to make molds out of them, because your files will be horrible. So that's just my suggestions. So in order to make your own mold housing, you are going to open an image that you have. I am doing this one that I just did. I just created this. And when you get it into Silhouette, you're going to size it the size that you want your mold to be. Your mold design, not the entire mold, just the mold design. So basically what size you want your freshie. It's going to be a little smaller than that because you're going to have an outline around this. So I have it at 3.8 on the long side, just because I don't like my freshies huge. But if you like them that way, by all means, make them whatever size you want. But you do want to make it the size you want in Silhouette. You don't want to make it huge and then go resize it and it messes up all your dimensions. So, if that makes sense. So, once you have this the way you want it, then you're going to go up and hit File, Save As, Save to Hard Drive. I make a file on my desktop to put my files in. I've already did this one, so it's called Ribbon. And this is just so I can find it later when I move to Tinkercad. So you want to pull this down and choose SVG, and then I name this one the details, because it's the details of my mold. You can name them whatever you want. This is just what I do. And I already saved this one, so. Then when you're done with that, you're going to go over on the right side and choose this star, which is the offset. And you hit it up here. And it's going to put a line around. I'll change the color so you can actually see it. So this is going to be this. Let me show you on the housing. This is going to be the area around your design. So however much space you want around your details is what this is going to be. And you can slide there's a little slider right here. You can either type it in or you can slide it to where you want it. Don't pay attention to these holes because you're going to remove those. So I like it about there. So once you're done with that, then you can just pull your original design off. Hit delete because you already saved it. Then click this again. Go over here on the right hand side and hit open the modify panel. You only use 2 buttons on this side, so it makes it super simple. So you hit that, hit release right here. See how it filled all those in? And then you can right click and hit weld, and it makes them all disappear. So then you can hit File, Save As, Save to hard drive. In the same folder that you were in before, I call this Outline. And like I said, I already did this, so it's just replacing them. So that was that. So next you're going to do your actual mold wall, which is this part on your mold housing. And it's actually your mold wall. So on this one, I'm very specific. You go back over to the right, you hit the star again, offset, and I put 0.22. This is the size that all my customers like. You can do thicker, you can do thinner, but this is the perfect bake, they say. So I can make that, change that so you can see. So that's going to be my mold wall. So once you're done with that, you can delete this one because you're done with it. Click that again, hit File, Save As, Save to hard drive, SVG, and I call this one the mold. And then once you're done with that, then you can open up Tinkercad. And I lost my internet, so I gotta hook it back up. Once you get into Tinkercad, you're just going to create 3D design. And then you're going to hit Import. Choose a file. And I do the mold first because it's the bottom. So hit Import. Drag it over. And then on this one, and this is, you can do any dimensions, but like I said, this is the ones that I now do consistently because this is the ones that my customers give me the reviews on. I have an Etsy. If you find me on Etsy, you can see all my designs, all my molds, reviews. But I do this one at 0.099, and you can type that in or you can just drag it. See how it went down? And then I do the quality 14. And the reason you change that is it makes these layers smooth when you print. See how my lines are smooth? It really improves the way it comes out when it prints. So then once you're done with that, you're going to hit Import again. And then you're going to choose Outline. Sometimes it'll put it directly on, sometimes it'll move it over here. So if you just drag it. So if you want to, you can select both of them. And then up here, it'll say Align. And there's not many buttons in Tinkercad, so it's easy to find it if you can't see very good on this video. There's an Align button. And you can see it puts it, so you're going to hit this one because you want it to align that way. And this one down here because you want it to align there. So now you know it's aligned. It's going to be the same no matter which way you turn it. And to get it to move like this in Tinkercad, you just hold down your mouse button, your right mouse button, and drag, and it switches it. So now that you're done with that, I go back to the bottom. So I'm going to click on the mold, and then go up here and hit Duplicate. And it'll flash, your screen will flash. But you won't see anything because it just duplicated it on the bottom. So over here, you're going to choose Outer Line. And depending on your internet, sometimes it takes a minute, sometimes it's really fast. You can change colors right here if it's easier for you to see your things. You don't have to do that, but if it's easier for you to see. So this is going to be, the screen layer is going to be my wall right here. So I always do the same dimensions, line width. It is going to be 0.099 again, the same as I did this floor, which was the back side. So now that it's, this wall is 0.099, now I need to make it a height. And up here, where it says height, I'm going to make it 1.3. I always make it 1.3. So now that you're done with that, this needs to be raised up some. I always do these 1 inch. And sometimes it'll take a minute depending on how fast your internet is. And then the quality, I always do at least 14. 14 works good for me. You can go all the way if you want. So now you can see you have your wall. You have where the silicone goes. And you have your layer right there, your outline. So now you want to add your design. Details. Import. You can drag it over. Sometimes you will need to hit this magnet over here. And that will bring it to the top. See how it brought it to the top. And then on the height right here, it just depends on the design. I usually do 0.064. Sometimes I'll do 0.69. It just depends on the design. And it's totally up to you. You don't want to do them too tall. You don't want to do them too short. So usually anywhere in the 60s is pretty good. And then you want to change your quality to 14. You can move this around. You can use the center button again, but oops, I'm moving the wrong layer, as you can see. You want to make sure you have the right one clicked, unlike what I just did. So you can just move it where it's centered. And as soon as it's centered, you're going to select all. And then hit this button up here, and this makes them all one piece. So now you can see that is what your housing looks like. And if you want to, you can make it pretty colors by dragging this. Like if you wanted to sell your files and you wanted to put them in like Colts or whatever, and you want them to look pretty, you can change the color. You can go into export, hit STL, and it'll save it. One thing I often forget, which I did on this one, is up here you can change the name. And if you don't change the name, it's going to name it something really bizarre. So you want to change the name. If you forget, it's no big deal, but it does help you if you change the name. If you want to, you can download the picture. If you hit send to, then you can download the picture to use in, previews or whatever. But as soon as that is done, then you can open up your 3D printer program. I use Bamboo. I'll show you what it looks like in Bamboo. And if you have any questions, find me on TikTok. I'm going to be doing live so people can ask questions. Starting next week, I get new internet, so I'll be doing lives too, so you can ask questions. And I have more videos on there too, so if you need help. So then you just find your file, open it up, and there is your print file. Super simple. And I know it sounds confusing, but once you do a couple, if I wasn't videoing this, it usually takes me about a minute to make one. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.